Today, I'm bringing you running backs that I truly believe could break out going into the 2023 season. These are the guys that you want to be drafting late in your redraft or underdog leagues, guys that can really fall and give you significant value and help your team to the championship. So before we get into it, go to flockfantasy.com/land, the best place to support what Zach and I are doing here at Fantasyland. You get our articles, our rankings, and bonus content. We just introduced fantasy/dynasty domain, some great new content creators on the site, and not only do you get all the content from us, but all the other content creators on Flock Fantasy. So once again, flockfantasy.com/land, get 30% off at sign up, and let's get straight into the video. Before I tell you my first running back, comment down below, let me know which running backs are going to be your breakout for this year, and tell me why. I'm really interested to hear all your thoughts. So let's get into my first running back, and I've kind of been raving about this guy a little bit already in our live streams. I brought him, I would say, 3 weeks ago now, and that is Cam Akers, a guy I truly believe is going to break out and have a phenomenal season this year. Currently RB21 on Underdog. He's my RB20, and Cam Akers has had a roller coaster of a career. You know, getting drafted out of Florida in 2020, just coming into a crowded, not a crowded backfield, but a backfield where we know every single rookie doesn't really get the opportunity that we expect from the jump, and then he gets the opportunity the second half of the season. We saw a little glimpse. That's why he was getting drafted in the third, fourth round of your dynasty or your redraft leagues in 2021. Then he tears his Achilles that year, which is unfortunate, and then he comes back in 2022, doesn't have the best start because in week one we all believing in Cam Akers, this offense is going to be good. Darrell Henderson comes out. Cam Akers has beef with Sean McVay, and then it all kind of goes downhill from there. But then he does have a revitalization in the second half of the season, because from weeks 13 to 18, he finished as the RB4. He was a league-winning running back in the second half of the season. And if you had Cam Akers, you were buzzing. Over 100 attempts, averaging 17 attempts per game, over 500 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 17.7 fantasy points per game. That is league-winning numbers for Cam Akers, and that's exactly what I'm hoping and believing that he is going to pick up coming into the 2023 season. And if you really, once again, extrapolate all these numbers, which is not a perfect math, not a perfect science, he would have finished as the RB5, a top RB, a top 8 RB in 2022 season if he would have gotten the opportunities he got in the second half of the season, as we saw. Look, a lot of people and a lot of the narrative saying, well, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford were missing a lot of time. I think that's a load of bull. I honestly, truly believe that if they were all on the field, there's less of stacking the box with Cam Akers. I mean, you think of Baker Mayfield, he was throwing to Tutu Atwell. I mean, they were clearly stacking the box, just trying to get to Baker Mayfield as much time as possible. But Cam Akers was doing as much more with that opportunity that he got with this team. Obviously, Tutu Atwell, Van Jefferson, I understand I probably missed a couple names, but just somebody to throw it out there. You know, I think there's a lot of opportunity for Cam Akers. And if you really look into that week span, weeks 13 to 18, he was averaging 73% of the snaps. Do you want to know before those weeks, what was the highest snap share percentage that Cam Akers got, and when that was? That was 55%. That was in week 13 of his rookie season in 2020. Of why we were saying, whoa, if Cam Akers can get 70% of the workload, what can happen? And that's exactly what he showed us this past year from weeks 13 to 18. Look, I understand that Achilles is probably one of the most scariest and historically one of the worst injuries for a running back. But from what we've seen here, once again, weeks 13 to 18, he's overcome that. Another year removed from this injury, Cam Akers easily, in my mind, could be a breakout, could be a league winner, could be somebody that can win you weeks in championships coming into the 2023 season. So don't sleep on Cam Akers. My second running back that I believe could break out going into the 2023 season is from the Chicago Bears, and that is Khalil Herbert. He is RB40 in the community on Underdog right now. He is my RB37. And I've seen couple different narratives, a lot of people believing in Rashawn or Roscoe, I call him Roscoe Johnson, Johnson, Rashawn Johnson over Khalil Herbert. I think there is a narrative for both, but I do believe Khalil Herbert would lead this team and will lead this team in, for the first half of the season. If he has and shows that consistency that I am believing and that we saw this past year, he will be the lead back the majority of the season for the 2023. Yes, Roscoe is a great pass catching back. Yes, Roscoe can eat into his workload, but even at a 60 to 40% workload, I think Khalil Herbert can bring you tremendous value as a mid to low end RB2. And especially showing the efficiency that we saw this past year with Khalil Herbert. I mean, 5th in true yards per carry, 7th in yards per touch, 7th in evaded tackles per touch, 5.4 breakaway run rate for Khalil Herbert. In 8 out of his 12 games, he scored 15 plus fantasy points. That is efficiency with only 12 carries, a minimum of 12 carries. Khalil Herbert was giving you and returning that value for you when David Montgomery wasn't on the field. Doesn't sound exciting, doesn't sound amazing. I know with Roscoe and Deontay Foreman, to be completely honest, there as well. But Khalil Herbert is going to show something incredible. And that was with only 129 carries on the ground this past year. I think that's going to continue to rise this year. I think he can easily double that number. And yes, I understand, Justin Fields is on this team, hinders this offense to run the ball a little bit more. But to be completely honest, Chicago was 3rd amongst the NFL in rushing attempts per game. That was behind Philly and Atlanta. Chicago is going to continue to run the ball. Chicago is going to continue to do everything. This offensive line gets better with them drafting Darnell Wright, and I think sky is the limit for Khalil Herbert. So look, Khalil Herbert, yes, Khalil Herbert and Rashawn Johnson are going to be there, but honestly, I can put them both in this list, saying that both Khalil Herbert and Roscoe could easily be breakout players. Khalil Herbert on the ground, Roscoe in the air, and maybe you want the air opportunity with Roscoe, do that. Draft him, a couple picks later, or get Khalil Herbert, who I believe can get the touchdown opportunities and the goal line opportunities without a doubt, and all the attempts on the ground. So Khalil Herbert is my one of the breakout running backs this year. Last but not least on my list of running back I truly believe could break out, and I think he will make the list as my guy this year. I need to finalize that, but that is James Cook, running back 30 on Underdog right now. He's my RB25. And if you guys have been following this channel, you guys have been hearing me on our redraft channel, Dynasty channel, or in our live streams, you've been hearing me talk about James Cook and his upside and where I truly believe he can go. A lot of people really want PPR upside, pass catching opportunities for a running back, but no one loves to draft James Cook. Why? I have no idea. Why? Because he's probably because he's with Josh Allen, who likes to run the ball himself, or whatever the case may be. He's still going to get the opportunities. Do you know why? Because we saw last year how much opportunities we saw Devin Singletary get, leaving behind 52 targets on the ground. Not only on the ground, but the attempts on the ground as well. Yes, Damien Harris is there, and we will get to that soon. But I just wanted to let you know that's exactly the type of targets we can see from James Cook in the air. 52 plus targets for James. You know why? Because Damien Harris is not a pass catching back. Damien Harris hasn't had the history of having a massive workload in the air. Not saying he can't catch the ball. I'm saying that we haven't seen him, exceed over 30 plus attempts in the air for Damien Harris. And I think that is pretty significant. Yes, Damien Harris will be a goal line guy. Yes, Damien Harris will be a short yardage guy. But James Cook is going to be the PPR opportunities, is going to be the 3rd and longs, is going to be a guy that can be lined up on the outside, that can catch all the targets that Devin Single is going to leave behind. Not only that, I truly do believe he is going to eat into the projected Damien Harris workload that we are all projecting. Not saying Damien Harris is not a better, I would say, run in between the tackles, but according to last year, James Cook's efficiency was off the roof. I mean, out of this world. 1st in breakaway runs, 2nd in true yards per carry with 5.8, 3rd in yards per touch. He was obviously averaging 5.8 yards per carry as the true yards per carry, and then average 8.6 yards per catch. James Cook was efficient last year. James Cook is going to see more of the workload, and that's why they drafted him with that early capital in the 2nd round of this of his drafts. So I see him continuing to improve his workload. And just another reminder, 25% of the workload was the max that James Cook saw his rookie year. 25%. What does 40 look like? What does 50 look like? What does 60 look like? What does 70 look like? As we continue to get higher, James Cook is going to have more and more opportunity. And he's going as the RB30 right now, an underdog. Look, you can sneak him in, man. You can get James Cook. And then if you really want to solidify that backfield, whether it's underdog or your home leagues, go draft Damian Harris a couple rounds later. That's going to help out. I mean, yes, maybe you limit your upside, but once you, if I'm wrong, at least you got Damian. But if I'm right, you have the PPR opportunity, which could lead you to a league-winning breakout running back here with James Cook. So look, some of these guys, maybe you're questioning. Comment down below. Let's have a conversation. James Cook, right? Khalil Herbert and Cam Akers, all three of these guys, I truly believe could break out going into the 2023 season. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. And as always, it's all love.
Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.
It's so easy, even your grandma could scan that QR code right there.